Hi, SaharaKnite. How are you? How are you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. I'm doing well. Just been keeping busy.
Yeah, okay. Tell about yourself and your family.
So my parents are from Gujarat.
Okay.
So Gujarat, Gujarati.
Yeah.
But yeah, both my parents are Gujarati. I was born in England, so British, but so I'm Indian. People always say I'm Pakistani, but no, Indian, Indian, full and through Indian. Uh, yeah. I'm 45 at the moment. Well, 45. I've been working in the adult industry since 2004. I started in 2004. I worked through to 2009. Then I took quite a long break. Did some mainstream TV stuff, Game of Thrones, some other things, and then I came back to doing porn in 2018, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah. As you mentioned, you acted in Game of
So
Thrones.
what else would you? Oh yes, Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's very much popular in India also. Tell about that
Is it
experience.
very big in India?
Yeah.
So I was in Game of Thrones for I had about 4 episodes, all adult episodes. Take your clothes off, naked episodes. It's okay. So yeah, I did Game of Thrones in 2011 and 2012, which was fun. One of the scenes was in Malta, and the other scenes were in Belfast, where it just rains and it's just cold constantly. Yeah, Malta was nice and hot, and Belfast was the opposite. Raining, cold, every time.
How you feel about after the success of the Game of Thrones? Game of Thrones became
What a
huge.
success.
Yeah.
Do you know what, right?
Yeah.
I haven't watched Game of Thrones. I did this, I shot, obviously, I worked for them. And then I think I watched 1 episode of Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
That was when the dragon came down and blew the wall. That's the only episode I watched.
Yeah.
But it's done really well. I mean, I've not read the books either, but I heard that the producers or the writers, I met the writers, but I know people who are avid fans of Game of Thrones said the writers sort of fucked it up a little bit towards the end. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I've not read the book, so I don't know. But they felt like the last season was very rushed and short and just shit. So I don't know.
Yeah, that's what many of the audience are telling about.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Apart from Game of Thrones, what are the series or films you acted?
Apart from Game of Thrones, I've done God, what have I done? Brave New World. They're all sex scenes. I don't do anything else. And then there's another there's a Netflix series called The Girlfriend Experience. Girlfriend, something like that. It's a Netflix series. So those are the 3 main ones. And I did some bits on a British thing. Was it American? It's a British, I think, called The Great. It's like a black comedy set in the the olden times. So lots of sex and debauchery in it, them sort of things, and costumes, the old big dresses and the hair and the old-fashioned costumes. Yeah.
Okay. How you entered into the porn industry? How it happened?
How did I enter? Oh God, 2004. I have said this before, but I can say it again. I entered the industry in 2004. I was working full time, but I needed to make some extra money.
Okay.
So I used to work in the fashion industry as a clothing technologist. I left uni. I worked in that. I was living in London. I had debts coming out my ears. Or you owe the bank lots of money. So I needed to make some extra money, and that's how I got into it. I started doing solo stuff, and then in the UK they have these TV channels with the girls on that take the phone calls. They shake the phone. I did that, and then from there I moved on to doing girl, and then boy, girl, and then I left my full-time job, so I was making more money on the TV channel, and then that's how I got into it.
Okay, how your family members reacted when you entered into the porn industry?
Oh, very badly. My parents are, they're Indian, also Muslim. It wasn't good. They didn't react very well at all. We didn't speak for a very long time. We started speaking again recently, especially with the COVID and the pandemic, and I rang them. I rang them to see how they were, just because I hadn't spoken to them in such a long time. But yeah, they don't agree with what I do, so we don't discuss it really anymore. I mean, Asian families, ostracized. We don't have a daughter. I think that's what it was. We haven't got a daughter. We don't have a daughter. So yeah, it's difficult, I think, sometimes, but you get used to it.
Okay, while shooting your first video, how was it like?
Mostly guys, Indian guys, yeah. I think Indian guys have an idea in their head of how they want a woman to look, right? Yeah. And with Indian films and stuff, all the women are like slightly bigger, they've got big boobs. So when you're smaller and you haven't got as big boobs, I had some guys, I used to have put pictures of me on the internet, on my own Twitter, and then they'll highlight my boobs and they'll go, what is this? Is this a man? Is this a boy? I don't know what they got out of that, but it stopped now. This was like a couple of years ago. At one point, it was quite a lot. They'd be like, can't tell whether you're a boy, you're a man, you're a this and that, because or get a boob job. I'm like, I'm all right. I'm okay with my boobs.
Yeah, that's a very sportive reply. Okay, I think this. Mia Khalifa received many death threats after she filmed a porn scene wearing a Muslim dress hijab. You know that, right?
Oh yeah. Do you know what, right? So I got to say, so when I first got into porn in 2004, right? I'm going to go back to where I am, right? People keep talking about Mia Khalifa, so I'm going to go back to where I am. I never used to shoot with the hijab. I never shot with the hijab. I only started shooting with the hijab recently. But when I got into porn in 2004, I used to get lots of death threats. Not because I wore hijab or anything, right? It's purely on the fact that I was Muslim. Yeah. Like people knew. I never hid the fact that I was Muslim, and on the forums and everything, I used to read them sometimes, and there were death threats everywhere. They'd be like, oh, somebody needs to go and find her, somebody needs to go and shoot her, somebody needs to do this, somebody needs to do that. Mia Khalifa, she put the hijab on, she made herself very popular on the hijab. For somebody, it's a really strange concept to me, because there's loads of content out there with female performers who are non-Muslim wearing a hijab, and they're making a name of it, whereas girls who are Muslim who wear the hijab don't get as much recognition even in the adult industry. So there are girls on OnlyFans. There's quite a lot of Asian Muslim girls on OnlyFans now. They might not show their faces, but there's a lot of hijabi content out there as well now. But it always seems to be like if you're white and or non-Muslim and you put a hijab on, it gets more traction than somebody who is Muslim. It's a strange concept. But yeah, she did make a name off the hijab and she did get death threats. But I think you have to be aware of certain things. You're always going to get a certain segment not like what you do. I still get people who don't like what I do. Somebody will say to me, oh, you're making fun of a religion, but to me, that I'm like, well, that is I might not be practicing, but that is the religion I was brought up in. So I'm not culturally appropriating anything. I grew up wearing a hijab, do you know what I mean? A scarf. My mum used to insist I wear a scarf when I leave the house. We used to argue about it all the time. So, but yeah.
Okay, what's your advice for people you want to become a porn star?
What's my advice for people? Oh my God. I'm going to start talking now. Right, so I get lots of people who who email, lots of Indian guys especially, who all want to become porn stars. No joke, and they're all from India as well. Not that it matters. Most of them are from India. Yeah. And they all want to come to the UK to be a porn star, and they all want to live and they all say, oh, I'll come and live. I say to them, well, if you're going to come to the UK to do porn, you can't just come and work here. You have to have the visa, you have to have the health certificates, you have to have so much, a lot of production companies. There aren't many production companies in the UK shooting now. So everybody's shooting their own content for their own platforms. So you're better off staying in India, finding someone to shoot with and shooting for your own platform and becoming a star that way than and then you could become a porn star. But coming to India, they were like, oh, you could sponsor me. And I'm like, they want to come and live. Oh, you can sponsor me. I come and live with you. No, that's not happening. But, you know, it's a hard industry. I'm not going to say it's not hard, right? For anybody, you have to be, what can I say? In the right mind. You have your mind frame has to be right. You know, you have to be strong-headed, strong-minded. You know, people are going to make fun of you. People are going to, I don't know, you might not like your hair, might not like your teeth, might not like, you know, you might be a bit fat. You know, people are going to look at you because when you put yourself out there, people feel that they can say whatever they want. And, you know, you have to be able to accept that. I mean, not just say it, but some people can't and they get very upset with it and then they start making changes and whatever. So you've got to have a really thick skin. And two, with porn, you know, you've got to be, not for a guy, right, you've got to be good. Yeah. You know, you've got to be able to perform. It's not about, it is about sex, right? But it's about performing for the camera. You know, you know, you need to know the lights, you need to know the angles, you need to know how to show the girl off. You're not just fucking for the sake of fucking, yeah. And, you know, I think some people think that, you know, in the porn films, it's like they just fuck. But, you know, there's so much stop and start and editing.